is Sunday morning, June 29th. Rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, hopefully getting your day started off on the right note. And I got to tell you, it's a beautiful start to the day. Let's take a live look outside on our Tower Cam network, see what's doing. Of course, this is a lovely shot in downtown Orlando. Not much doing here, and that's okay with me. And the same is playing out across all of town. First warning, live Doppler radar. I'll loop it. And there are a few showers here along the Gulf Coast that are maybe trying to sneak on in, but as they do so, they're kind of weakening down just a little bit. So not expecting too much chaos from them. Temperatures out the door sitting in the upper 70s. Certainly now that the sun has come up, the temperatures are starting to climb. 78 degrees in Orlando. 75 degrees in the Villages. It's 73 degrees for us up in Ocala. So it's a warm, muggy summer start in Central Florida. Now, the forecast today takes us into stormy territory yet again. 50% coverage of storms 3 p.m., 70% coverage of showers and thunder showers for 5 p.m. So lots of storms around. It's going to be an active afternoon, to say the least. In terms of temperatures, at least those storms help to keep those temps down in check just a little bit. It's about 84, 11 o'clock, 89 by 1 p.m., and then those storms will kind of drop the storm chances down, or the storms will help to drop the rain chances down just a little bit. So at least we've got that going for us. In terms of high temperatures, here we are across town, right? 90s for some of us. You can definitely tell the influence of the direction of the wind and the storm kind of motion. Notice places like Sanford, St. Cloud, DeLand, those are the warmer spots. Reason being, that's where the storms are going to form kind of at the end, right? That's where it's going to take a while to get those storms moving that direction. So because of that, yeah, we've got some stuff to track. So let's do this. Let's get right over to Futurecast, and then boy, do we have some things to talk about in the tropics. Is that a tease? I suppose it is. All right, here's Futurecast, 8 o'clock this morning. We're looking good. Notice, though, by about 11, 12 o'clock, storms spreading through our western areas. Ocala, Marion County, the Villages, you're going to be getting rained on. 1:30, 2 o'clock, getting into DeLand, getting into Daytona Beach, getting into Palm Coast, and then kind of working off toward the east. Now, that's the rapid update Futurecast. Let's look at the extended Futurecast, which is already showing some storms out west. Those storms don't exist. So, I always say garbage in, garbage out. Take this with a grain of salt to see how it's handling. Okay, so it kind of fades it out. That's fine. All right, 11, 12 o'clock, popcorning up some stuff around the area, but storms out west getting fired up 1, 2, 3 o'clock. So it's an earlier start, it looks like, to some of the activity. Let's also look at the her model. And again, if you're new to Coffee Talk, or if you're just like new to the weather enterprise, we'll say, the HER model stands for High Resolution Rapid Refresh. And just think of it as another tool in our tool chest, okay? It's not Futurecast, but it's got the same behaviors. It's just got a different mathematic equation. All right, so I kind of like what HER's doing. This is the rapid. There's two versions of Futurecast, two versions of HER. One runs every hour, shorter range, but runs every hour. The second one runs every 6 hours, but longer range. Gives us a better idea, okay? All right, so HER showing a few showers, but nothing significant until about 3. All right, I kind of like this better. Yeah. I feel like this is more the pattern. 3 o'clock, we start popcorning up some storms. 4, 5 o'clock, we start rigorizing, is that a word? The West Coast sea breeze, right? Sumter, Lake counties, Marion counties with the stormier weather at 5. And then it's going to take a while to get into the metro and off to the east. So yeah, I mean, I if I were to pick a model to really go with today, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be the HER model. And what's interesting, you can always tell when you work with someone a long while, you can always tell what they're going with. Look at what because Cam's in this morning. Look at what her 12-hour forecast is revealing. Absolutely is showing that Cam is going with the HER model, right? Yeah. So, Cam's a good forecaster. Cam's a great forecaster. So I think she's doing a fantastic job. Totally, totally, totally buy in on that. Okay. Cats, tats, and gats. I'm not a fan of the her. Nada in Sanford. Again, understand that these models are guidance, whether it be the tropics or whether it be local. Computer models are guidance, not gospel. So you cannot just take positioning to the bank. You're looking for trends, you're looking for motion, you're looking for intensity, you're looking for timing. Those are the things that you can take from computer models, okay? Okay, so questions, comments, concerns about our Sunday forecast. I'm going to go to the 7 day now, all right? But I want you to ask your questions about our 7 day forecast, and then we can move on. There's a lot to talk about in the tropics. Tony's asking, question, when you show us the 12-hour forecast, is it mainly for all of Central Florida or a specific area? Yeah, so it's for all of Central Florida. So we kind of go with a coverage model when we use our rain chances. So Sunday, 80% coverage. That means 80% of us are going to get rained on. As far as temperatures go, we use Orlando. But that's why here on the 7 day forecast, we also have a coastal version. But yeah, so the temperatures were Orlando, but in terms of the rain numbers, those are coverages. Okay, so that's kind of how that plays out. So 7 day forecast for our inland spots here. Okay, it's going to be stormy today. It's going to be stormy tomorrow. And frankly, while we do edge down the rain coverage the next couple of days, it's not a ton. We're going to keep a lot of storms around all the way through the 4th of July. So, to that point, for planning purposes, July 4th, lots of afternoon storms, not a washout, lots of afternoon storms, but it's going to be a hot day, right? All right, coastal friends, want to make sure you're covered too. Lots of people on this week taking vacations, going to the beach. Totally get it. Even you were looking stormy. Now, firing up fireworks on the beach, whether or not that's legal, I know a ton of people do it. At least the rain coverage does come down just a little bit. Okay. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. Um, light lighting. Does it show that before or just after? Amy, I don't know what you're asking over on YouTube. Reiterate in a different way because I don't quite know what you're asking there. Timing of storms today along the coast for Flagler. Patty just showed Futurecast, but everything's working eventually your direction. So look out, look out to the west, and you should be able to see it as it's all working your direction. Okay. All right. Questions about our local forecast before we move on. Okay. Questions in terms of storms, by the way, for today. When we look at today's storm threats, essentially heavy rains and some gusty winds are there. Could one or two get a little feisty? Sure. Do I think that that's really going to happen significantly? Not really. I think that today's bigger threat is going to be torrential downpours, and just the overall high coverage of rainfall, okay? Hail and tornadoes, that's low. We're just looking at storms today, all right? That's kind of where we're at. We're just looking at storms, widespread showers and storms, okay? Sound good? Devil Ray Post says they never show the coastal one on the news. Cam didn't make it this morning for fun. She, I'm sure, showed it. I was on yesterday. I showed it almost every single one. So I maybe just the one that you've not seen. I can't speak to what you have seen, but um we absolutely show it. That I spent the time to build the thing to code it into the computer. I didn't do it just for funsies. It's there, right? Somebody asked about the rain coverage map thingy. Yeah, let me pull that up here. All right, so here's today's rain coverage map thingy. Okay. Basically, there you go. You could say that it's a high coverage of rain on the rain coverage map thingy. That's I think the long and the short of it. Right. So if we're kind of just looking at things for the next couple of days, basically stormy day to day and keeping pretty stormy the next couple of days. All right. Those are your two big weather headlines. Lots of storms around. All right. Good. Questions? Maybe. Maybe. Any questions? No, let's check. I'm asking them now. All right, let's see here. We had lots yesterday. I was wondering if we'll have a bunch today. Oh, of lightning? You know, we've got modeling that does show lightning and thunder, but if I'm honest, Florida's going to Florida. Thunderstorms are going to develop lightning. Models do a terrible job of that. You just kind of have to understand how the pattern works, right? Do you work night shifts or just morning shifts? I try to stick to the mornings. Yeah. I think the lady who meant tell beforehand if there will be heavy lightning. Heat, humidity. We get a lot of lightning in Florida. That's just kind of the way that it goes. Yeah. All right. All right. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the tropics. Let me introduce you to Tropical Depression 2. We were talking about this for the last couple of days. Doesn't look like a ton, doesn't look like much. Maximum sustained winds here are at 35 miles an hour. It is in the Bay of Campeche. Drink, because I know you're going to do it. Hold on. All right. This is the 8 o'clock intermediate advisory. Now, computer models on this thing basically kind of take it along the coastline there and then eventually bring it inland. But along the coastline there is not only was there a window for it to intensify, but there's also a window for it to continue to intensify. This is not going to become a big bad hurricane, nothing like that. But it does have the opportunity, we think, to strengthen to a tropical storm. Okay. By this afternoon, the thought process is TD2 could become a tropical storm. Does that play a lot into your and my forecast? No. Does that play at all into your and my forecast? Also, no. But is it something that at least we should mention, we should track? Sure. I mean, we track the statistics of hurricane season, right? We follow how active things have been. Next name on the list is Barry. So, should that develop into something, it would be named Barry. The biggest concern for this, okay, the very biggest concern is the rain going into Mexico. Okay, so there's its current location now. Let me run our futurecast model to give you an idea as it makes its way in. Look at some of these rain numbers here. The deep reds, the even kind of darkish reds. You're talking about a foot or so of rain, half a foot to a foot of rain in these areas as it makes its way ashore, right? You see all that rain? So that a storm doesn't need to be strong in terms of winds to be impactful. And this is a clear example of that. Now, somebody's going to ask, what about the rain from TD2 for Florida? None. It's not coming here. Somebody else is going to ask, why do we care if it's not coming here? You're on a weather broadcast, so we track these things. It's also an opportunity for me to explain to you that tropical systems are impactful no matter their intensity, which is why we have to watch, right? Okay? So that's something to watch. Now, there's another area to watch. To the satellite we go. And the Hurricane Center has highlighted an area in the Gulf to around Florida. Yeah, that's breaking this morning. 0% chance of development over the next 2 days' time, but a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days' time. Essentially, late this week into the weekend, watching the Gulf for some sort of development potential. Okay, so it hasn't done anything, but let's take a moment and let's look at the raw model data. We were looking at that the last couple of days, right? So that would be like July 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. All right, let's roll through time here. All right, old front, depositing area of low pressure. That's July 5th. There's low pressure. Not doing a ton. It's just kind of sitting out there, and then it eventually kind of looks like, at least on the GFS, it lifts back to the north as high pressure from the Atlantic builds back in. But it's that there in the Gulf that has the National Hurricane Center monitoring, right? So Should you be worried? No. Is it something to track? Yes. Is it something that we'll need to watch closely? Sure. Right? Nothing at this point to be worried about. But again, as hurricane season trucks on, we've got to watch this stuff, right? All right, so that's the GFS. Let's look at the European and let's just kind of get an idea. But hit that. Well, let's go. Let's keep going on the GFS and just see what else it's got kind of further out too. Maybe something top right corner of your screen there. Some stuff out around Bermuda. That's it. All right, over the European. Okay, first off, bottom left corner. You see that there? That's what could become Barry in the Bay of Campeche. See right there? Right there. It's deepening it just a little bit. All right, going forward. That's July 5th. It's showing. So what's interesting is the GFS was showing low pressure trying to develop out over the Gulf, whereas the Europeans kind of trying to put that low pressure out around the east coast of Florida. Either way, if this plays out the way it looks, our rain chances may really be going up for 4th of July and then into the 4th of July weekend. And then look at that. After that, the 10th, the 11th, another area of low pressure out in the Gulf, according to the European. Okay. I guess we could look at some ensembles, huh? All right. Ooh, the Euro AI has its own ensembles now. All right. Boy, nothing. Do. I mean, there's a couple, there's a couple hints of stuff. It's super subtle. Nothing is looking strong, but there's a couple of hints. You see that around Florida? There's a couple of little hints. Yeah, nothing significant. And then around the 10th, the 11th, yeah, nothing significant. Let's look at the European ensembles. I mean, there's a couple of hints there around the 4th of July. Yeah, around late week. Interesting that the euro is more bullish than the GFS, right? And then because the AI is there, apparently, that's kind of cool. I know nothing about their ensembles. But again, next weekend, the Euro AI showing some stuff, nothing significant, but a couple of the ensemble members showing something. So yeah, it makes sense that the National Hurricane Center would highlight the area around Florida. And again, there's no significant development, but the areas around us late week into the weekend. With the Euro highlighting it more than the GFS, it definitely got my attention a little bit more too. Yeah. All right. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That's the next little area to watch. Yeah. All right. Oh, thank you, Mr. Frank. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. So that's kind of where we're at, my friends. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? Anything at all? We've got storms, lots of storms. I'll be interested to see. I mean, if something tropical wants to try and develop near us, Thursday, Friday, Saturday would be weak and sloppy, so we don't have to worry about like a big hurricane, but it would probably raise those rain chances. Yeah. All right. Sound good? Okay, what's with the others reporting about the dust? Is your affecting this forecast? Huh? I mean, we've been talking about Saharan dust as well. There's a ton of Saharan dust. It's been keeping the tropical Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf quiet. These little homegrown areas are about the only ones that can, and they're doing so kind of out and around the dust. Yeah. Is the What is more important, Euro or GFS? Kim is asking. They're all important. They all serve their purpose. Each of them have their gifts and their weaknesses. Yeah. Evelyn Warner, how are you, my dear? Good morning. Good morning. Bruce, I would never do that to you. I would never do that to you. Janice says, "Show us your T-shirt." It's a blue shirt. It's nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at all. Brian's asking, water temperatures getting warmer? Yeah, I mean, as we're pushing in, we're almost to July. So yeah, the water temperatures are absolutely getting warmer. Asking for the coastal forecast. Here's your coastal 7-day forecast. Absolutely. Debbie says, I just got a WESH warning on my phone. Yep, me too. Me too. And we already showed it. Yeah. Tim says, next Saturday I'll be packing for my flight to Sanford on the 6th. Can I please have good weather? I'll try. Can't promise. I'll try. Wes just alerted they're tracking a system. How about that, Taylor? And see, here we are. We're doing the things. We're doing the things. Oh boy. I'm thankful for a break in the heat. I mean, it's still going to be hot, but yes, point taken. Yeah, point taken for sure. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate it. Victoria, just wondering about dust affecting my breathing this week. Yeah, so here's the Saharan dust. Here's where it is right now, right over top of us. Yeah, so I mean it's definitely a little hazy, but yeah, the dust is right over top of us. Yeah. Amy needs to know about Tennessee to Florida on the 3rd and 4th. I can tell you Florida. I haven't looked at the weather in Tennessee though, so I'm sorry. I track the tropics and I track Central Florida. So there's that. Yeah. I have missed many days. Work instead of winning that lottery, right, Tanya? I get it. Ugh, I get it. I'd love to win that lottery. Your coffee talk is always awesome. Learn more than others. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate it, buddy. Are you concerned about the lack of hurricane data everyone will get? Yeah, the loss of microwave in satellite data is going to be another step in the backward direction for tropical forecasting. It is concerning. Um, yeah, there's not much more to say than that. The less data that we can put into computer models means that the computer models are going to be going backward instead of forward. So that's going to be the struggle. Yeah, absolutely. Gina's asking, would I be okay for Universal Studios on July 2nd? Listen, there's going to be some storms. I would go and then go early, and then when the storms come, you either hide inside for an hour or so, or you go home. That's all. But yeah, I wouldn't. Don't not do things in the summer because of storms. There's storms every afternoon during the summertime. You know, right? Kelly says, if you win the lottery, I expect severance pay for having to deal with you after all these years. Already they're coming out asking for the money. He probably would owe you some money for all of the fees. Yeah. Charles is asking, wait, why are we losing microwave in the satellite? So I saw a post essentially saying that they're doing away with the Department of Defense, I believe, is doing away with the microwave data that they're no longer ingesting it off the satellites, which meteorologically we use, especially when looking at cores of storms that we haven't been able to get recon data into. It was put out I don't know, a week or so ago, less than a week ago. It was one of those things that the meteorological the meteorological community kind of learned later because it was DoD satellites, I guess. I used the data. I didn't know anything about like the cores of it, the organization of it, or anything. So at any rate, yeah, um, that's a problem. So um, something definitely to look into. I want to look more into what led to that being stopped and go from there. But any lack of data going into computer models, going into our information and situational awareness process is a problem. So yeah, Jeannie Rowan, thank you excuse me, Joanne Bowman. Wow, my brain. This information is so valuable. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Rain missed us yesterday. Got to see the fireworks show. Our town did it. That sounds great, Kalia. That sounds great. No CAT scans for hurricanes now. Kinda, yeah. And that's a problem, right? So yeah. Robin, well, the storms over the next weekend coming up. Close to afternoon storms without as a birthday party planned for the morning. These are afternoon storms. Nothing changes in terms of timing. These are all looking to be afternoon storms. So yeah, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. Okay? You're gonna be just fine. Sonia, how's Chris doing? Haven't talked to him today or yesterday. The last time we talked, he was cracking dad jokes. So hopefully, we need to get him out of the hospital. We need to get him home. The bionic man. We'll get him feeling better, I hope. All right. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Brad, we're in a bit of a quieter stretch for the cycling weather pattern. It's going to heat back up about mid to late July. So for right now, we're not in any of the parts of the pattern. Yeah. Taylor says Florida rainy pattern. It gets moist in the afternoon. Correct. This is just tracking the overall coverage. More storms today, tomorrow, and then maybe tapering down a little bit late week. Just depends on how much kind of tropical lower pressure wants to develop by late week. Right? All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? What is the dad joke? He told me it was a dad joke about the inventor of the either the wind chill or the heat index passing away. So yeah, Chris being Chris. Keep Jim Cantori away from Florida this year. As long as you know I don't actually have control over that, whether it be the weather or his assignments. As long as you know that, we're going to be good. As long as you know I don't actually control that sort of thing. All right. All right. That's all I've got. Listen, thank you all for hanging out for coffee talk. Appreciate you. Make it a great Sunday. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you guys and gals again tomorrow morning.